kind of our first approach towards the strategy of being successful in fitness is just finding your core root struggle. Let's just dig a little bit deeper into your relationship with fitness or movement.
Hello and welcome to the Core Podcast. We're your hosts, Aline Keller
And Shannon Polson.
I'm a precision nutrition certified coach.
And I'm a NASM certified personal trainer for over 13 years. We support women 30 years old and over to pursue health through realistic nutrition and fitness strategies. Our main passion is to help you find that smile when you look in the mirror, find freedom when you eat, and joy when moving your body.
Make sure to subscribe for your weekly dose of doable health tips, practical advice, and so much more. It's the health education you wish you'd had. Welcome back to another week of the Core, and today we are talking about one strategy for fitness success. This is going to be a good one. You know, what is it that you can do to not guarantee, because we don't make any guarantees here, but what is something that you can do to, potentialize having success with your fitness? And that's what today is all about. So there you go, Shannon.
All right. This episode title could almost be two different strategies, but the one main strategy is one that we'll get into when it comes to fitness and being successful. But the first thing that I want you to do, and this is something, if you're driving, this is going to be great because you can kind of just sit with your thoughts. But, if you're working around the house and you have a piece of pen and paper to even whip that out and jot a few things down. But we want to talk about the emotional side of fitness and movement, physical activity in general, because, we've talked a lot, Eleni and I, on podcast about like, what do you struggle with? Like what deep down is going on inside, not only now as an adult, but when you were younger? What's happened? What situation and events? What have people told you before that has caused you to feel a certain way about nutrition and fitness? So kind of our first approach towards the strategy of being successful in fitness is just finding your core root struggle. Let's just dig a little bit deeper into your relationship with fitness or movement. So kind of the first approach starts off with, you can work hard and you can try every approach in the book to achieve your fitness goals. What was that one? This was a while ago, maybe 10 years ago, the 90 P90X.
Okay, yes.
Do you remember that? Okay.
Yes.
P90X cracks me up. Not because he's bad at what he does, because I bought it and it was great. But, oh man, this guy's ripped. He's got yoga, training, cardio, endurance. He's got all of the dynamics to have a successful fitness routine, which he does. But someone that has never really moved in like the last 3 to 6 months of their life, they're not, built strong enough to, obtain this massive change in their life. But they see how he works out and how he looks. So now they're going to try that approach to try and get to that stage that he's at. So there's so many.
Gosh, that's so important, right? Because excellent trainer, he's really good at what he does. Excellent professional, but that's not where most people are starting, right? Like that is an advanced program that, come on, let's be honest, Shannon, most people don't have to tackle that much of a workout every day. So yes, exactly. And then people go into it thinking, okay, I'll survive this for 90 days and I'll look like that. Oh, honey, you won't.
Now you're injured, you're burnt out, you're probably just done. And then what happens on day 91? Like you go back to the same thing before. So anyways, there's so many approaches out there, the programs that are just going to let you achieve that next best fitness trend. But if your core root struggle is unresolved, you will not see the results that you want, regardless of what program that you try. I would say if you're trying like a beginner program, which is going to be the strategy that we talk about in a couple of minutes, you have more room for success. But we really need to, if you're struggling with creating and maintaining a successful fitness routine, you want to dig a little bit deeper into your core root struggle. So, the first kind of phase or step into this one is your environmental influences. So, what type of physical movement habits did you have when you were growing up? Were you in sports? Maybe you got burnt out now as an adult and you just don't even want to think about moving. Maybe life happened, marriage, kids, you travel for work, so on and so forth. Or maybe you didn't physically move at all when you were a child. You were more just video games, reading books, studying, that type of thing, more sedentary activities. So now you don't have the education or that willpower to physically be active. What type of physical movement habits did you have most of your adult life? So now we've graduated high school, we're moving into college, now we're in our mid 20s. That's a huge life shift when we go out into the real world. Usually our eating habits change, our movement patterns change. It's a huge shift in our life. So how was your physical movement during that phase of your life? And what type of movement habits now does your family currently have? Are you one of those active families where every Saturday morning you go out and you go for a hike? Are you active, just you? Every morning you work out, you go down to your gym and you exercise, but the rest of your family is kind of hearsay? I mean, it's all over the board, but take a look at your current family habits. Are you alone on this journey or do you have a good support system? And then what pressures do you have? What obstacles do you have? And what challenges do you face when it comes to fitness, when it comes to movement and maintaining this habit? So once you've kind of moved into these couple of questions to really dig into from when you were young all the way up to now and your current challenges and obstacles, you can kind of create more of an emotional, strong relationship with movement. Now, this one kind of can go into eating. So, the psychological distress of eating, we're all aware of that. Do you eat because you're emotional, you're sad, you're happy, you're celebrating? The same thing can be for movement. Do you move because you're punishing yourself because you ate a piece of cake last night? Are you moving because you feel like you need to look like that chick that you saw on the magazine in the grocery store? Or do you not move because it hurts? You have uneven or unbalanced movement patterns. You feel pain, or your emotions are too strong. You're sad, you're irritable, you don't want to move, you'd rather sit on the couch. So how does your environment influence your moving or lack thereof? So dig into your core root struggle, figure out where your habits come from, all the way from the ground up. And then from there, we can start to create a plan nonetheless. So you can look at it as per day or per week. For some, it might be per hour. But you kind of want to look at your movement per day slash per week. Basically, you want to try and plan ahead. Now, we're going to slowly start digging into this one strategy, but basically, I want you to think of movement as a business meeting with yourself. So when you are planning your day or your week ahead, this is a business meeting that you cannot cancel or reschedule on yourself. So basically, you have a meeting with a coworker. Eleni and I, we have a lot of meetings together outside of our podcast. You know, we might kind of, I guess we kind of reschedule sometimes, but we're really good at it. We plan our day around our meetings, and the same thing should go with your fitness or your movement. I have a couple of minutes here after lunch. I'm going to plan to go for a walk, take the stairs, lift a few weights. That is your business meeting, and you can't cancel and you can't reschedule. So from there, you got to plan out your day, your week, like we said, it's your business meeting. So where do we even start though? Like, how do I plan for my day and for my week? Well, my friends, I'm going to give you the 10-minute strategy. And I use the 10-minute strategy probably 3 out of 6 days out of the week when I exercise. Because as we've talked about, motivation is not always going to be there when you want to work out or when it's time to work out. Again, our emotions get the best of us. We're lacking on time. There's other things that we'd rather be doing, but you got to give yourself 10 minutes. And typically what I do is normally I start exercising at 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Um, Usually I don't want to work out, especially this time of year, but I give myself 10 minutes. And what I do is I pick 3 different exercise, typically warm up exercise, so dynamic stretching. And then I keep repeating these 3 exercises for 12 repetitions until my 10-minute timer goes off. Now, here's the deal. 9 times out of 10, after that 10 minutes, I feel great. I go for another 10, 20, 30 minutes, and I have this great, wonderful exercise session under my belt. Now, I'm not saying that's what you need to do, especially when you're just getting started, but you need to give yourself at least 10 minutes. Now, if you get to those 10 minutes and you still want to keep going, the best part about that is you're already warmed up. You've gotten in your warm up. You static stretched or, yep, dynamic stretched. You're warmed up. You're ready to go for another 5, 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes hits. Thank goodness that timer is finally beeping. I don't feel like doing it anymore. That's fine. You gave yourself 10 minutes. That is 10 more minutes than what you normally would have done. You're still probably feeling more motivated, more energized. This is probably going to waterfall effect into the rest of your day to eat a little bit healthier. You feel more stretched, you feel less pain, and the wonderful benefits just continue on and on. So this 10-minute strategy is so important, whether you're just beginning your fitness routine or if you've had a fitness routine for years, like myself. I've been an avid exerciser since I was 15 years old, and it's still hard, but I have that habit and I use this 10-minute strategy, like I said, a lot of days out of the week. So now for individuals looking to begin an exercise routine, let's start there. So 10 minutes isn't that long, but it's long enough to get started and to start progressing towards your goals and to start seeing changes mentally, physically, and emotionally in your body. So let's say, all right, 10 minutes on Monday is where we're starting. You plan your business meeting. What time are you going to exercise for those 10 minutes on Monday? Now, typically as a personal trainer, we progress our clients every 2 weeks. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot. Okay, Shannon, I need to exercise for 10 minutes for 2 Mondays in a row. What's that? It's a lot. That's 20 more minutes in those 2 weeks that you wouldn't have normally exercised. So now you've maintained that habit of exercising, planning that business meeting for yourself for 2 Mondays in a row. Let's add on to that. Now you're doing Monday and Wednesday for 2 weeks for 10 minutes. You've maintained that. Let's add Friday on there. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you have your business meeting, that exercise session with yourself for 10 minutes. That's 30 more minutes. That's 60 more minutes in those 2 weeks that you wouldn't have normally done. Okay. Now, ideally, we want a minimum of 30 to 60 minutes, 3 times a week, but we're getting there, right? So now that you have your Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 minutes of your business meeting, let's progress until we hit 5 days a week. Now, this is going to take a couple of weeks. You're in your action phase, right? You're actively working towards working out 10 minutes a day for 5 weeks. Now, once you've maintained that, and this can be for longer than 2 weeks, I would say, it's hard to establish that habit for 5 days a week. Okay. But once you've maintained that habit of 10 minutes, 5 days a week, and it's almost easy for you, what's 10 minutes? You know, Start increasing the duration of those 5 days, but not by a lot. You kind of start back from the beginning. Okay. Monday, I'm now going to do 20 minutes. I keep those 2 weeks of my 20-minute Monday business meeting, and now I add my Monday and Wednesday, 20 minutes, and so on and so forth, increasing your duration for those 5 days. And you just keep moving forward. Not just, I don't like that word, just like it's easy, but you keep moving forward. Some weeks are going to be better than others. Some days are going to be better than others. But again, with that action phase, if you regress 2 steps, go forward 3 steps. Now, this strategy can very much be used for individuals that, again, have been maintaining an exercise routine for many years of their lives. This is a great example for me when I start training for my triathlons come the end of the spring. Typically, I'm not swimming, biking, or running throughout the winter a whole lot. So I kind of have to start out with this 10-minute strategy of, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now I have to run a little bit more. I have to bike a little bit more. I'm increasing my duration by 10 minutes. And this takes a couple of weeks. Whereas finally, come triathlon day, I have my hour and a half, 2 hours of swim, bike, run under my belt because I've gradually progressed. So therefore, I am not getting injured. I think that's kind of the main reason why we really, really want to start out slow, is to create that habit and then also to prevent injury. Because if I were in March or April, just start running, biking, and swimming like beat out of hell, bat out of hell, I would get injured and burnt out, and triathlon day would be non-existent to me.
And
So if those
that's,
are, oh, go ahead.
hi, yeah,
Hey,
that's,
what's up?
sorry, I totally interrupted you.
No,
But
it's
that's
fine.
also important because you're talking about triathlon, which is like, most people probably don't push their bodies that far. But lots of times we start out thinking, okay, this is where I want to get. And that you
Mhm,
have to start the training at that level, right? And what you're saying
mhm.
is exactly that it doesn't matter where you want to get, you have to start with increments and then increase, because
Yes.
starting like full out, yeah, your odds are you're gonna quit for one reason or another, either because you
Mhm.
have to, because your body's gonna say nope, not gonna happen, or because you're just like, no, this is too much, I'm not gonna do it. So yeah,
Yeah, you just get.
increments, no matter where you want to get, increments.
Mhm, mhm. Oh, it's so important. Increments are great. And that's kinda, I mean, we've touched base on it before. It goes to show with those New Year's resolutions, people, they know where they wanna get, and that's where they start. They're not beginning with those increments, that slow strategy forward to get them to that long-term goal. Alright, so in a nutshell, just kinda going over the strategy, just making sure that you're digging deep into your core root struggle with your relationship with movement or physical activity. And this more or less goes to individuals that either A, have not or do not currently have an exercise routine, or B, it's kind of like a yo-yo diet. You've been on a yo-yo relationship with fitness. You're here for a while, you're doing great, you back off, something happened, and you lost it for a duration of time, a long duration of time, because we all know life happens. But if you're very up and down with your fitness, you're not consistent, this is a great strategy to work with. And maybe you just kind of start over, you just clean the slate. Just whatever happened in the past, I learned from it, and I'm going to do better this time. My slate is clean, and I'm going to start out with this 10-minute strategy, and I'm going to keep moving forward. This is an episode for a different podcast, but remember that there are deloading phases too. So if you finally reached your goal of, let's say, 20 minutes of exercise 5 days a week, and you are starting to feel burnt out, you are starting to feel physical pain, you're starting to get injured, by all means, regress back maybe now to 10 or 15 minutes 3 to 5 days a week. Just regress a little bit here and there. Or maybe you're adding more yoga, you're changing, you're switching up the type of training. That's okay. You always want to be evolving. So feel free to evolve your training routine as well. So take some time, dig a little bit deeper into your emotional side of physical fitness, and then start focusing in on that 10-minute strategy, whether you're beginning, you're looking to remain consistent, or you've been exercising for years and you're looking to increase the durations of your workouts.
That is awesome, because it doesn't take a lot to make a big difference over time, right?
Right.
We keep thinking that
Mhm.
we need these big things. No, success with your fitness, and it's the same thing I say with nutrition. It's not about the big things. It's
Mhm.
not about what you do right before a wedding or what you eat during a wedding or a party. It's about what you do every single day. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
we say that a lot, and we're going to keep saying that.
Oh, we're like broken records, but I mean, it's true, and
It's the truth.
it's science, and it's been held tried and true. Like you've said before, we're not reinventing the wheel.
Nope.
These are just strategies. We're 10 steps ahead of you, and we're giving you strategies that have worked for us or that we've seen have worked with our clients.
Yes.
And while our strategies or the way that we talk about this stuff may not resonate with you, that is fine. We're just, I mean, if we can change one person's life, I consider it a job well done. Hopefully
Yes.
we can change more. But yeah,
As
it's
long
the
as
small
people
things that add
remember
up.
consistency over time. That's
Yes.
all that you need.
Consistency is key 100%.
All right, that was a great one for today. And I'm very excited for the next one because it's going to be our first episode where we actually have a guest. We are going to be talking to Dr. Crystal Zuniga. I hope I'm not butchering her last name. She'll confirm it for us.
Yeah.
So Dr. Crystal, she is a cancer dietitian, and February is Cancer Prevention Month, and I'm very excited to talk to her. We're going to talk about nutrition and cancer. You know, what's true about nutrition and cancer? What are some myths? And, you know, we're going to work through these things, and it's going to be amazing. I'm very excited. Can't wait for that. So tune in next week. We have a special guest, and you don't want to miss it.